I do this on Wednesdays around 11:30 a.m. Dubai time, sometimes a little bit after. I take up questions that you've sent in the comment section, either on Instagram or YouTube, and start answering them. I also allow you to ask me questions live. Like, so if you want to ask me any questions live right now, I'd be happy to answer as well, okay? Either on YouTube or Instagram. So thank you for everybody who's joined on live. Sanket, Akib, Ankit. Some of you guys are realtors, agents. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. I've got a wave from Fahd Dawood official. Somebody wants to join my live. Should I let them in? Okay, Youth Arise Awake. Hi. Hi to you too. All right, guys, today's live, I want to take on these questions and answer them as to the best of my ability, best of my knowledge, guide you. Akib, wa alaikum assalam rahmatullah. Thank you very much for joining. So that what can happen is, any questions you've asked me, I am more than happy to reply. Anything you want to ask me today, right now, you're more than happy. I'm more than happy to take your questions, both either on YouTube or Instagram. All right, check this out. First person, relaxing and fun. What does this person say? Brother, also make video in Urdu for real estate. I'd like to do that. I don't mind doing that. Just FYI, maybe if you go back to some videos from 2019, you will find some videos in Urdu as well. Okay, team, what do you guys think? Some videos in Urdu as well? Maybe some in the future? Yeah, possible. I don't mind doing that. Look, I speak Urdu quite fluently. I've got no problems in actually talking in Urdu. And obviously, I would then be able to reach out to more people who perhaps don't speak English fluently. So that's perfectly fine. Thank you for that suggestion. I'd be happy to do that. Abhishri Fahim official who's joined. Thank you very much, guys, for joining in. Let's take some of these other questions as well. So Nakuboy asked me, what do you think of Samana Developers? They have been launching some very nice and attractive apartments, including private pool. What do you think? Okay, so let's talk about Samana Developers. But even before we talk about Samana Developers, because I prefer not to talk about specific developers unless in a very confidential session, okay? But let's talk about general other developers, okay? Somebody who's in the market and let's say they are less than 5 years old, okay? How would you go about assessing what they are about, who they are, what they deliver, have they promised what they delivered, so on and so forth, right? So essentially speaking, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up realizing that a lot of developers that come to Dubai start from scratch in terms of learning about development in Dubai. Dubai has its own unique flavor in terms of how it allows you to develop. And therefore, you're going to have to, at the end of the day, appreciate that because Dubai has its own flavor. Sorry, guys. Can I take this, please? Just 1 minute. Am I still on my live? So, I'll be honest with you guys. I work as a real estate agent as well, so sometimes some things can be pressing, so I apologize. So, Bhavna, I see your question. Thank you very much for being here. I will come back to you. Just give me 1 second, okay? So, coming back to Nakuboy. How do you evaluate a developer? What have they done in the past? What have they delivered? Go and actually visit not just their showroom apartment, but what they've actually delivered. Where have they come from? Have they been doing development, let's say in Pakistan, India, Japan, Italy, so on and so forth? Because then you can go to Google and just check the reviews of the buildings they've already made, the projects they've already made, right? So whether it's Samana or any other developer, you would look at their credibility and history on what they've already delivered. Now, Samana, as I know, as a developer, has already delivered 1 or 2 buildings in Dubai. Very simple. Just walk in there, right? The moment you walk, now, how do you walk in there? Like, you know, if I say to you, walk in there, you might be like, well, if I just walk in there, the furthest I'm going to get is to the lobby. Well, you can go a little bit further. You can try to purchase an apartment there. Honestly, you don't have to lie to an agent. You can say, look, I'm in the market for an investment. I'd like to look at this apartment, but just be honest with the agent. Tell them like, look, I'm looking at off-plan buying directly from the developer, but if it's a good deal I have the cash, I'll buy from you, right? Just go in there. Or call one of the agents and say, look, if you're renting an apartment, I want to just see the quality that the developer, be honest with the agents, they'll help you out. Honestly. If you tell the agent, I want to rent, I want to buy, but you're not really a renter or a buyer, you're wasting their time. Don't do that. Respect their time. So walk in, or just walk into the building, talk to the security guard and say, look, do you have any vacant, empty apartments? I want to look around. He'll be like more than happy. Give him like a little bit of a tip or a bonus, and he'll give you the keys. Look around the apartment. Go to the private, not the private, like the private common areas, the pool, the gym, the so on and so forth. You go to the gym, for example, not Samana. I've not been in a ready building. You go to a developer's gym. Building's already 6 months, 1 year handed over. For example, there's no gym equipment. There's one building in downtown I know about. Back in 2013, it took them 1 year to furnish the gym. And even after 1 year, all there was mirrors and a few little weights and stuff, right? Like, you go to the pool, there's like 2 sunbathing chairs. Like these kind of things you're gonna like catch on quickly. You walk in the corridors, there's a lot of smell. So that means exhaust systems are not working. So anybody who's cooking anything, the smell's coming into the corridors. You walk into the main lobby, you look at the security guard's chair is torn, for example. All of a sudden, now you're like, these guys they don't have their act together. Things aren't looking. Think about it, right? If you're flying Emirates business class, everything is business class, right? But if you're flying like, I don't know, like to Tata Airways, and they've got business class, then perhaps you don't get the same experience. So that's how you look at a developer. The long answer to your short question, okay? They've been launching some very good and nice and attractive apartments, including private pools. What do you think? Okay, so the first people who did private pools in every single balcony in Dubai were 5 in JVC. It's a ground plus 70 or ground plus 40 or 50-story building. In the beginning, that building was not doing that well, but as during the pandemic, pre-pandemic, as Dubai started to attract a lot of influencers, young people who like to come here and have a good time, that building's done really, really well, especially with Airbnb. Like, who doesn't want a pool in the balcony, right? So while they've done really well, the overall logistics of delivering a pool in every single balcony, that's a real pool or a mini plunge pool. We call it a plunge pool if you can just go in it and not really swim around. So it's not really a pool, it's more like a plunge pool, which is fine, right? In the hot weather, you just want to dip into the water and it's fine. The logistics can be serious. So you've got to really work that out. Can a young developer, which possibly they can, deliver that kind of je ne sais quoi, like the goodness around this specific specialty that they're looking to deliver? And if they do, then yes, it's a very unique opportunity. There's a possibility that Airbnb might work very well, but you've got to remember, if you're maintaining a pool body in your apartment, and let's say Airbnb does not work very well, and you're not making that extra 2-3% or 4% in rental income, that cost of maintaining that pool and chlorinating it and keeping it clean and keeping the pump going, all of that's going to come to you. Okay, so sometimes, like, fancy things are great, but taking care of fancy things also needs to be taken into account sometimes, right? Not always. As a non-resident, okay, let me take a question, live question from Mr. or Miss Pavna Patel. Pavna is a girl's name, I'm pretty sure. So it's Miss Pavna Patel. What are your thoughts? Everybody else who's joined in, welcome. Azad, Imran Saeed, Lizan, Osman, Salha 50, welcome on Instagram. Thank you very much for supporting and being here live, guys. Hello. Bhavna, so your question, what are your thoughts on the appreciation and rental prospects of the Mac Lagoons? Look, in the grand scheme of things and in the long term, the Mac Lagoons is going to be a very good community. It's going to be, the Mac has already delivered the Mac Hills. It's got Malibu Bay, which is like this amazing beach concept with waves and sand and stuff like that. It's got good landscaping, it's got good greenhouses. But as a first master community, of course, it's slightly slower than, let's say an Imar master community, but the Mac's getting there, right? They're putting in a shopping center there, a community center. I think a masjid, a mosque is coming in there and so on. So I'm talking about the Mac Hills, the first one. The Mac Lagoons is right opposite. So all the learnings the Mac gets from the Mac Hills, they're going to be implementing all the lessons they've learned in the Mac Lagoons. As the Mac Lagoons integrates, comes to completion, and comes to fruition in the next 5 to 10 years, yes, prices will go up, rental return will be good. In the short term, you've got to be very specific about what you're buying, where you're buying, what's the per square foot that you're buying for in the Mac Lagoons to know if you're making a good investment with that's going to give you capital appreciation right now. Because you've got to remember, developers are sometimes 20 to 30% priced more. They're giving you a payment plan, they're giving you a lot of other options that are going to get kicked in, payment plan, 1 year warranty, so on and so forth. So ends up happening is that you pay more when you're buying, so you've got to wait longer for the appreciation to kick in. Okay, generally speaking, not all the time. Sometimes you can flip in 5 6 months. Bhavna, I hope I was able to answer your question. If you want personalized help and consultation, there's a link below. Hit it, click it. Let's talk. As a Shah Nawaz Khan, as a non-resident, if I were considering to buy a property in Dubai with a mortgage to live in, will I be eligible for a resident mortgage? So you've answered your question yourself, Shah Nawaz. You said as a non-resident. So if you're non-resident, you can't be eligible for a resident mortgage, right? Does that make sense? It's kind of like saying if Dubai announces that every single resident of Dubai is going to get $1 million bonus for being such good, happy residents, right? For example, if you're non-resident, you're not eligible for that bonus. So you got to become eligible. If you want to become eligible, you're going to have to do this thing, become a resident. Youth Arise Awake. Do you hire freshers, your company who loves the selling process? Yes, we hire. Depends. You've got to go through the process. And if you're a good fit, sure. Bhavna Patel, lovely. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for that question. I appreciate it. Please, guys, don't forget, if you've got questions, ask me in the comment section. My team takes them up, yeah? Not today. If you don't find the time to ask question today, you can even ask in the future. Akib Zia Khan, is it better to buy off-plan property or ready property for good ROI from the day of investment? I think I've answered this last live, but I'll answer it again. It depends on a lot of things, okay? If you're buying the right off-plan property in the right area, the right location, for the right reasons, you're going to have it be better for you because there is no one single answer. Like, for instance, if I talk to you and I said, if you were going for vacation, right? Is it better to go to London or is it better to go to Amsterdam, right? Both cities are in Europe, one's out of the EU, one's not, so on and so forth. There's a lot of other things that you would consider. What's your budget like, right? Okay, let's not even compare London. Okay, let's compare London and Amsterdam, both in Europe, because summertime's coming around, so people are going to be going on vacation. So I'm just bringing this up. Is it better for you to go to London or Amsterdam? Which one's better, right? So think about it like this. Perhaps you've already been to London, right? Perhaps you want to taste a different country, different language. You don't want English to be spoken around you, for example, right? You might consider Amsterdam, right? Perhaps you've got family in London or family in Amsterdam, right? So when you're buying a property, same rules apply. How much money do you have? When do you need it ready by? Do you need rental income immediately or do you prefer capital appreciation? Can you wait 2-3 years until the off-plan property is ready? So there's a lot of other things that needs to be considered for a person to decide that, look, I want to invest my money in this. Now, if you said, no, I'm just an investor, I'm looking to just invest, even as an investor, you've got to work with the investor to understand how much money they're looking to deploy, when do they want their return, do they want liquidity immediately or no? If they can't sell, if they can't buy, when do they need to sell? When do they want to buy? When do they need to sell? When they want to sell, right? So all of these things you got to understand. Okay, Shahnawaz, you're asking me in a question, another question. Thank you for considering this question. I briefly looked into the process of getting a 1-year remote work visa. Okay, that's good. As far as I can tell, I would need to apply for a remote work visa. Then once that is approved, I need to travel to Dubai and apply for the Emirates ID, correct? So that's good. Emirates ID is like the local resident card that proves that you can actually live in Dubai that is your visa actually. Once I have this, I can get a bank account in Dubai and proceed with the Islamic mortgage pre-approval application. Can you also address this in the live session? Thanks in advance. So Ankit, I've seen your question. I'll read it out and I'll talk to you about that as well. So Shah Nawaz, yes, you can apply for an Islamic mortgage. Once you've got a bank account, you'll have to show the bank your source of income. So they'll need at least 3 months of salary coming into your local bank account, and you would have to show them that this is solid income coming to you. Like you'll have to talk to them, right? And in that scenario, I would suggest talk to a mortgage broker, right? Just go to Mortgage Finder, okay, Mortgage Finder, and talk to a mortgage broker. Like talk to them and ask them, because in your scenario, if banks don't consider income that you're getting from somewhere else as as real income because they can't verify it, perhaps because you're a freelancer, then they might actually you might be in a better position to you might be in a better position to actually what you call it. You might be in a better position to apply as a non-resident instead of a resident, because even if as a resident you can um, okay guys, so even if as a non-resident you can get a mortgage, in your scenario that might be better for you than to convert your status into a resident and then be denied by the Islamic banks. Okay guys, Ankit, if you don't mind repeating your question, I think I've lost it, but I've got the gist of it. Okay, what Ankit was asking me basically was, do you think that the developers are the developers are launching a lot of projects, so a lot of projects, okay, at high prices? Okay, this was another part of his question. Ankit Aluja, I think it was. Okay, just trying to see who else is here. You WhatsApp? No, but no. Can you put it in the YouTube chat? WhatsApp. I'll have to get out of there. Okay, I'm gonna answer your question. You talked about high prices, projects, high prices, and then the other thing, Ankit Ahuja or something, right? Okay, so do you think developers are launching a lot of new projects in Dubai at really high prices, which can put pressure on the supply and demand equilibrium in the coming 3 to 4 years when they will be completed? Okay, supply and demand. Okay, guys, let's talk about this. First of all, you've got to understand the market dynamics in Dubai. Okay, Dubai has its vision, and part of its vision is to grow the city into the happiest city in the world. And obviously, part of that vision is to be number one economically as well. Okay, and the UAE also, and so on and so forth. Okay, so real estate is one of those things that adds to the Dubai economy, and people actually like to live here. Now, if people like to live here, people like to invest here, you've got to remember Dubai is open to 200 plus nationalities. They're able to buy properties here. Not everybody can go and just buy property in Canada, Australia, UK, so on and so forth. Some of the more mature, established markets. But Dubai, everybody can come and buy. There's sun, there's sand. You can either buy a retirement home, a holiday home, just an investment for other people to live in there, and so on and so forth. So Dubai has this intense relationship with supply and demand between investors, end users, and users as well. Okay, and that kind of like momentum goes back and forth to allow developers, when there is a lot of demand in the market, as we've seen post pandemic from 2020 and 2021 onwards, the demand's still there, it's stable, it's strong, in my opinion. It gives a lot of impetus, a lot of incentive to developers to launch projects, because they can obviously make the sales easier now, they can collect the finances, plots of land that they've been sitting on, they can actually develop projects and get them out into the market, because they've got ready buyers on the other side, right? So that's why they launch projects. Whether they're launching a lot of projects or not, you've got to really like just come down to Dubai and look at downtown. Okay, so downtown maybe has about 50 buildings. Dubai Marina has 100 plus buildings. International City has like 50 plus buildings. Like International City, when it was being built, was a community for 27,000 people. I remember going to International City with my father. He was taking handover of 32 buildings. He looked around that place. We were in a particular cluster of International City called England. We looked around. It was all empty because the buildings were just getting handed over. And my dad looked at me and said, "Who's going to live here? Who's going to be here?" Right? And today, if you go to International City, the place is packed. It's jam packed. I don't think there's 27,000 people living there. I think that's more like 100,000 people living there, right? Because it's one of those places where a lot of people live in sharing and stuff like that. What's the other thing? Dubai Marina, right? It's all full. Downtown, it's all full. So Dubai has this relationship of let's build it and then they'll come. And that's what's been happening for the last 20, 40 odd years, right? Remember, I was born here, I grew up here, and Dubai's been doing that. And sometimes it overreaches, right? Sometimes the supply is a little bit more, but then more people come in to actually absorb that supply. The other thing, now let me talk about the supply-demand equilibrium situation that you talked about. Listen, back in 2015, 16, there was a lot of talk about oversupply, markets oversupply. Where is the oversupply? Do you know that rents are going up by 20% right now? Like, we're in a situation where landlords are pushing up 20%. Can landlords push up by 20% if there's no demand per year? They're pushing it up by 20% because there's demand. And that's why they're pushing it up, right? Uh, so there is demand. There is like extra inventory. Got like 2015, 16. We were talking about it. Yes, 18, 19. We went into a situation where there was more supply than demand. But you've got to now. I've got to go back again, right, to 2013, 14. The Dubai government actually pushed for more apartments and properties in the affordable range. But even affordable in Dubai is like million dirhams, right? But they pushed that with developers, and then they gave them incentives and so on and so forth, so that developers would build more for Expo 2020 and for the demand that was coming in. Because Dubai understands this, like, if they're building 200,000 apartments, but 500,000, 500,000 people want to buy apartments, prices get pushed up too fast, too high, right? So the government tries to manage that. Number one. Number two, you asked me a question about high prices. Look, the high prices are an indicator of what's happening globally, right? So has oil price gone up? Yes. Has steel price gone up? Yes. Has cement price gone up? Yes. Has cost of living gone up? Yes. Are rents going up? Yes. So the developer's got to take all of that into account to then build an end product, right? Now, if he's going to put in more luxury faucets in there, but he's got to bring them from Italy, has global shipping routes more expensive now? All of that goes into the pricing, yeah? But at the end of the day, the developer can't charge something that people won't be willing to buy, right? So they still got to manage it. Pavna Patel's got a follow-up question. As Dubai continues to grow and more and better new developments arise, that is true. What are the prospects for secondary property sales? I mean, will it be like London where central will always hold value? Dubai is slightly different. Central over here. So when you say central, I use the word prime in Dubai. Prime means downtown, Dubai Marina, Palm Jumeirah, some of the other places which are, billionaires island like La Mer and stuff like that. Which means prime will obviously remain prime, but central areas will develop also into prime areas. Like Creek Harbor will develop into a prime area. MBR City, some of the developments like Shobha Heartland are developing into prime locations because they're very close to Burj Khalifa, right? But at the same time, I think there is a nascent demand for outskirts, no, well, not outskirts, but a little bit outer areas like Emirates Hills, Springs, Jumeirah Park, JVC, Modon, the Mac Hills, like places where there are villas and townhouses. They have their own value, and you've got to understand, like, Dubai is small. Like, let's have a look at how big London is. Okay, size of London compared to Dubai. Like, Dubai is way smaller. Okay, so I'm just looking at Dubai. Like, look at the difference, like, population and stuff. Okay, it's about a third smaller area. Dubai is 1,104 kilometers square, and London is 1,580. So it's about 500 kilometers square smaller, right? But so coming back to this, prime will remain prime for the next, I think, 5, 10, 20 years. Like, Burj Khalifa is not going anywhere. Dubai Mall's not going anywhere. The Boulevard's not going anywhere. The Fountain's not going anywhere. But the prime locations are different. Palm Jumeirah is in a different area. What's going to compete is Palm Jebel Ali with Palm Jumeirah over the next 5, 10, 20 years, right? It's going to be different, better, bigger, perhaps. But what I'm trying to get at is Dubai's got these areas which are prime. The centrals will become prime, but the established communities are also in Dubai considered prime. Like Arabian Ranch is considered prime. It's got a golf course. It's just one of those places where people love to live, right? So you've got to keep that in mind. Also, the other thing that I wanted to say was Dubai has an abundance of land. It won't follow similar. That's not correct. So Dubai's already actually announced a plan of conservating about 60% of the land. So a lot of people have asked me this. We see a lot of desert outwards of Dubai. What's going to happen there? His Highness Sheikh Mohammed's already announced a plan to conserve a lot of that desert area, okay? So somebody asked me, Chichi, cha, bro, मैं भी एजेंट हूँ दुबई में 2 मंथ हो गए मेरी इंग्लिश वीक है solution बताएं. So this person was asking me about his English is weak. He wants me to tell him a solution. I'm going to tell him a solution in Urdu first and then I'll translate for you guys in English. देखें बहुत सिंपल है इसका तरीका. आप न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ें बहुत ज़्यादा, रेडियो सुने और क्लासेस लें, राइट? इसका ऐसे ही देखें, अगर कोई बंदा आके कहे कि भाई वो बहुत मोटा है या बहुत छोटा है या बहुत पतला है, अब उसने मसल गेन करना है या उसने पतला होना है, सिंपल बात है, क्लासेस लें, मुंह को रोकें, खाएं ज़्यादा मत, और एक साल में, 6 महीने में, 2 साल में आपको डिफरेंस, you'll see a difference. So this person wants to increase their English. I've basically told them, read more newspaper every day, or books, listen to the radio, and practice, get lessons. So Ankit, is Dubai going to fall to as Saudi Arabia rises? Where somebody asked me a question. Okay, let me answer this question. SB95 Dubai, where? Not sure what you meant by where, but you asked me, is Dubai going to fall to Saudi Arabia's rise? There will be healthy competition. They'll both complement each other. Projects and developments which do not have hidden charges and late fees in their installment plans. Just be very clear. Ask them for details when you're signing up. Okay, look through and read the SPA. Sabia Sheikh asks me a question. Tenant has not paid since 2 years of court orders, although he was evicted 20 days after court orders, but hasn't paid a single penny since 2 years. We have put a travel ban on him. We are clueless. How can we get our money? Okay, Sabia, I've got to Om Tiwari. Hi, how are you? Sabia, here's something that I remember. It was either James McCarthy, my economics teacher, when I was doing my A-level, said this, or David Lipton, when I was in university in Schulich School of Business. Either one of them said this. Stop beating a dead horse. Like, think about it. If somebody had a horse, they loved it, it won them a lot of money, but God forbid, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but they go one day and the horse is sick and then they have a natural demise. What do? Do you just stay there, keep beating it to come to life? You bury it and move on, right? So this tenant, I don't know the particulars of the property. It seems it might not have been a very high-end property. Maybe it was a regular property, because what he's done, not pay, etc., is kind of like very bad. But either way, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel for you. Don't get me wrong. Like, let me rewind a little bit. I'm sorry that you've lost money, but it's been 2 years now. Till when do you want to beat this dead horse? You put a travel ban on this guy and so on and so forth. What's the point, right? The guy can't travel. I don't imagine that this amount is going to be like like millions and millions, maybe 100, 200,000. And the court fees and the stress that you've gone through has caused you more problems, has caused you more delay in living your life. Like, here's what I would do, okay? Now I'll give you a solution as well, okay? My first point is stop beating a dead horse. I'll give you a solution as well. Talk to the guy. Get an intermediary, someone who's responsible and knows their way around, to call the guy, sit down in a meeting, assess the person's situation, man, right? And this is me. Now I'm going to give you some personal advice, okay? Somebody owed me money, about 50,000 dirhams, okay? This is 14 years ago, okay? And this was really It was money. I was owed this money for work I had done, right? One day, and honestly, one day I took my dad to this person's house and I said, look, maybe you can talk some sense into this person. Maybe he can pay me this money. And my dad went with me to his house and he was living in Dubai. And back in the day, if you had to live in Dubai, you had to pay like a decent amount of rent to live here, even now. And when we went there, they offered us water, some drink, and then we left. When we left, my dad, I still remember, he said in the car, this guy doesn't have money. That guy does not have money. He's in a bad situation. I don't know why, but after that, something happened in my heart. I just calmed down. You know, instead of being like, you owe me 50,000 dirhams, you must pay me because that's my right. And that is the correct thing to do. You must pay me, and I will cry like a baby, and I will curse you, and I will pray against you. I don't know, that kind of calmed me down. So assess the person's situation, meet them, get a third party to meet them. Assess where they are, what they're about, right? Maybe the guy doesn't have a job, right? He's got a travel ban. Maybe the guy can't travel, right? Maybe he's got some other emergency situations in his life. Like, assess the situation. You're human at the end of the day, right? And you are a landlord. God blessed you with a property. So think about that person's situation and then work out a plan with him. Like, okay, what can you pay us? Can you pay us 1,000 dirhams per month? If he owes you 30,000, and if he can pay you 1,000 dirhams per month, he'll end up paying that over 30 months. You've already waited 2 years. Give him another 2 years, right? This gentleman who owed me 50,000 or something like that, 35 or 50,000 dirhams, which was, back then was a lot of money for me. I went on a payment plan with him to give me 300 dirhams per month. 300 dirhams per month. When I would have received that money? There is a calculator here somewhere. Let's even say he owed me 30,000 let's say he owed me 30,000 for argument's sake, okay? 30,000 divide by 300. That's 100 months. 100 months. It would have taken me like 8 years to get money back. I let him pay 300 dirhams per month, and then he didn't even that stopped. But you know what happened? Something good happened much later. This guy was a very good person, gem of a person, very nice person. Much, much later, I think about 8 or 9 years later, I get a call out of the blue. He's like, I've sold some land. I want to pay you your money, whatever is due. And he came and he paid me, okay? Okay, let's move on with questions. Where did Ankit's asked me. I've got a question. ABMC, you asked me, did you talk about my question? Sorry, I wasn't there. I want to know more about the independent marketing consulting, what it takes to be one before entering Dubai to become an agent. So, independent marketing consultants, the IMC program, we ran for a little while, for about 6 months, where we had a lot of interest from international people who wanted to sell Dubai real estate. So we ran this program. There was a very small fee to enter the program, and then we said, look, we're going to train you, we're going to tell you about the Dubai market, but we shut down this program because it was very difficult for people, from my opinion, sitting abroad to actually do that. If you want to come into the Dubai market, you've got to come into the Dubai market, literally. Move here, bring some savings, get involved with the company, get your driving license, and start, okay? Ankit Aujla asked me which nationality of investors you see will increase a lot in the coming year. I think Chinese people will increase. Explore Soul Powerful Women. It means you recommend rather buying in Creek than in downtown. Again, it's different strokes for different folks. For some people, they can go to Creek Harbor. That's a great opportunity. I think still it's undervalued. For some people, they can go to downtown. It's prime, but be ready to pay higher premiums. Imran Said 16, hi Fahd Dawood, is the upcoming tallest tower on hold or cancelled in Creek Harbor? I think it's on hold. I don't think it's cancelled. They'll do something else with it. All right, guys. Thank you very much for everybody who's joined. Amro as well, Mujib as well, Assalamu alaikum. Maher as well. Sorry, guys, if I've actually missed anybody. Dubai Homes, Jaren. I think I've answered all the questions. There's nothing pending. Guys, if you guys didn't get a chance to get your question answered here today, just ask me in the comment section and I'd be more than happy to answer, yeah? We'll take it up during the live, and then we'll even put it in the description that your question's been answered. All right, guys. Ciao. Ciao for now. See you later. Bye.